And so the stage is set for what should be a memorable match, coming to you exclusively through the cameras of Network 10 Sport in Australia and New Zealand. And after this break, we'll be back for the start of the 1980 Tooth Cup final. The scene at Leichhardt with referee Greg Hartley in charge of his third cup final. And he blows time on before what looks to be an almost capacity crowd here at Leichhardt to what should be certainly one of the most controversial cup finals on board. And referee Hartley is going to put the very first scrum of the match down. Arthur Beetson comes across and pats Peter Wynn on the shoulder as if to say good tackle.
It certainly was a good tackle, and one that Balmain would be a little bit disappointed in, with Wayne Pearce losing the ball right from the kickoff.
But it didn't look to me to be forward though, Keith, just the same. It looked as though it was quite legitimately knocked back. But it's a Balmain ball.
Yes, and this is Schaefer playing in number 14 for the Balmain side. Has been already laced with high drama. I, as the commentator on 7 years of cup football, have not been throwing a dummy like I have been here tonight, let me tell you, but there has been high drama here up until 15 minutes before the teams took the field. I can't tell you any more than that, but these late Balmain changes have absolutely, well, they've thrown me as a commentator into utter confusion, to be very honest with you. I'll get an official announcement from the promoters of the Cup and broadcast as soon as I can. But to Tiger fans watching, I would imagine you're quite shocked. Lavers now, taken by 10. That's Steve Sharp for Parramatta. This man is Whittaker. And Sharp in the tackle with Gerard and Beetson. Morris, Knight, Pringle. And what a momentous it must be for Pringle, who's come back from that crippling disease that he suffered during the off-season. And he was almost a shell of a man. And he's had to be recalled off the bench to take a first-grade spot here tonight. Percy Knight. And Neil Hunt has put it down. That's a knock-on. Scrum to go down just inside the Parramatta 22.
I thought he covered it particularly well, because it was a very difficult bounce, and he certainly wasn't favoured. I thought he did well to cover it as well as he did.
So the second scrum of the match is won by Balmain. Percy Knight taken by Peter Wynn, who goes in over the top. Pearce, Filipana, they're outside the 22, and this seems to be a more enthusiastic Parramatta defensive pattern than the one we saw on Sunday. Morris met by Salkowitz. Beetson charges in, edges there, so is Wynn. Whittaker is 12 for Balmain. Knight, run. Whittaker again. On the 22 line, that's the one you see. Players in centre field. Webster, Knight. 17 is Pringle. Sterling is the tackler low. Beetson over the top. Last tackle coming up for the Tigers. They may be tempted to bomb. Whittaker goes from dummy half, and the scrum will form a few metres inside the 22 line. Now here's the announcement from the promoters, the one I've been looking for. Stand by. Parramatta in possession. I took my eyes off it looking at official screed that I've just been given. That's Peter Wynn tackled on the 22 line. The changes to the Balmain side tonight have been made so that the club complies with Premiership rules that 7 players on the field tonight must have played in the Balmain Premiership match last Sunday. That's the official document that I have. I thought that applied, certainly, but doctor certificates, I was under the impression, could change that ruling. So there's another question that remains just at this moment unanswered, but I can't give you that answer at the moment. Sterling. Full back is Schaefer. Bad bounce for him, picked up by Brett Kenny, and a nice tackle by Schaefer. That was a bad bounce for that fellow. Kenny takes it ahead further for Parramatta. Dummy half is Stephen Edge. It's a knock-on by Kenny. Play the ball.
It certainly was a well-placed kick by Sterling, but
I think Schaefer should have moved into it.
Yes, but from Balmain's point of view, it was probably just as well that he did, because Parramatta had 5 players on the left-hand side to only Wayne Miranda and 5'8" Lloyd Martin. If they'd moved it out, there was trouble.
He seemed a bit slow in getting up to it, Keith. I think he could have got it on the first bounce instead of being...
I think it was a well-placed kick.
Penalty to Parramatta, right in front. 30 metres out. Keith Barnes, I've got to ask this question of you, not as a fellow commentator, but as Secretary Manager of Balmain Leagues Club and a man closely associated with the club. And What knowledge did you have of these late Balmain changes, if any?
Well, the first knowledge I got was when I walked into the Balmain room 10 minutes before kick-off, waiting for the players to take the field, and the notification had come through that they didn't comply to the rules if they did put on the original selected team, and therefore they were virtually instructed to change the team and replace 3 of their selected players, which they did.
I think the reason for that, Keith, would have been for the fact that there were 3 of the 4 reserves who had played last Sunday, and if they're fit enough to be reserves, well, I suppose they're fit enough to be on the field.
Yes, of course, but then if the players weren't fit enough to play on the Saturday, and they are better than the reserves, well, obviously you want to put your best side in a promotion such as the Tooth Cup.
But it still didn't comply with the rule, though.
Anyway, this youngster, 21-year-old Michael Collins, has kicked 13 out of 14 goals in the last. What a big night for the lad. He's put it high, but it's wide. That won't do his confidence any good, Frank Hyde.
That certainly will not.
Well, what a start to a cup final. I'm not talking about the on-field action. I'm talking about the off-field action. And it's like being a quiz master without the answers to the final $64,000 question. Neil Hunt now will play the ball. 12 metres on the Parramatta sideway line. Peter Wynn. Tackler is Percy Knight in there, looking for the big Singapore Airlines Superstar Award. Jeff Gerard, the bearded front row forward for Parramatta. Tackler was Whittaker. Edge is the dummy half. Sterling blindside. A dummy to Beatson. Trying to pick up Glover on the open, or on the blind side, I should say. Still 10 short of the halfway. Sharp. Hilditch. They're backing up tonight. Wynn. Sterling blindside. Glover. Perfect pass, well run onto. 10 metres into Balmain territory, straight through his wing, his opposing number, Davison. And that's the end of 6. And this scrum 10 metres away from the Balmain 22 line.
Good bit of a handful for young Davidson over there, although he is a talented player and did well in the game against Canterbury on Sunday.
Well, the line out there, Keith, Parramatta haven't much confidence in their hooker. Squaring up like this.
Wayne Pearce, tackled by Patterson. Knight. That's Davison. It's almost like studying a set of colours as they go to the barrier. When they get there, they change 3 sets of colours on you. Webster to play it. McMahon. Breeze is behind Balmain in the first quarter. That ball is going over the dead ball line for a 22-place restart. During our quarter breaks tonight, we're going to take the opportunity of talking to entertaining the attitudes towards the tactics being adopted by these two sides. In the first break, we'll be talking or Keith Barnes, I should say, will be talking to Ray Price on the sideline. I looked down and it had me on the sideline. I thought that'll be a good trick. Just outside the 22. Sharp now. Gerard. Sterling. That kick looks good. Miranda's back there. Well taken, Wayne Miranda. Schaefer around Kenny.
Lost the ball.
Yes, Collins has it, the young goal-kicking winger. Kenny is the dummy half. Beatson. Gerard. From a standing start, Gerard.
Parramatta a little fat, Frank.
They certainly are not running onto the ball either, Keith. And Balmain, of course, is doing something similar.
Nobody can say Hilditch didn't run onto that ball.
No, he certainly did.
Edge is the dummy half. Blindside through Sterling to Beatson, a short ball, and that's Neil Hunt. Hunt now takes it up to the quarter line. He's a pretty good player, but can't kick left-footed, obviously. And a scrum down on the Balmain 22 line.
Well, he has to be better than a pretty good player. He has to be a great keep Gary Dowling in reserve grade.
Scrums at the moment, gentlemen, 3-0 in favour of the Tigers. Penalties 1 apiece. That's at the 10th minute, first quarter of the 1980 Tooth Cup final. Hartley calling it up. Oh, gee, that's a dubious feed. It's a penalty to Parramatta. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Your pick a fairly obvious story. And so this lad, Michael Collins, in number 5 for Parramatta, will be taking a much more difficult kick than his first unsuccessful one. And there it is. 22 metres out and 10 in from touch. He's only 5'8" and he weighs 11 stone. A local junior from the Granville Cheetahs. He's a bank clerk. And in 1980, he scored the following in 23 grade, 4 tries and 23 goals, a total of 58. In reserves, 3 tries and 51 goals for a total of 111. In all grades, a total this year of 169 points from 7 tries and 74 goals, and played in the 1979 President's Cup side at Parramatta. And he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders at the moment. That is getting away too. So it's Olsen Filipana to take it out for the Tigers, and Sulkowicz, number 3 for Parramatta, forcing him back in the tackle.
Good defence, wasn't it?
Oh, word it is.
I said to Keith on the phone today, Keith said Sulkowicz is back in first grade. I said yes, and I said the raps on him are very big. Apparently he's playing as good a football as ever, and particularly in defence. His captain Ron Hildy said, I've got no worries about him containing Filipana, which is a big statement. Misunderstanding between Pringle and Webster. Webster tackled by Wynne and Edge. Knight blindside. Martin's going up with him.
A good run though, wasn't it, to get that far?
He got his pass away too, but I think Davidson has missed it.
Hartley having a good close look at it.
You're lucky to get that one back.
Sterling around the legs. Sterling and Knight, 2 men that you should pay particular attention to. They've gone into this match level at the head of the Singapore Airlines Superstar Series points. In fact, I'll get you an update on players out there tonight who have got a chance of taking out that major award. Parramatta still to win a scrum. Penalty to them. That's an incorrect feed again, I think he'll find. Hartley again indicating to Percy Knight he wants it in the centre.
Yes, I'm a little bit surprised at Balmain's reluctance to use this breeze. I would have been looking in for Alan McMahon to put the ball downfield on that 6th tackle rather than take the scrum when it was switched to Rod Morris.
So the experience of Arthur Beetson was well to the fore there. You may not have seen it, but he had no hesitation in saying, give the kid another kick. Only one way to get him over whatever nerves he might have is to give him plenty of practice, and that's exactly what he's getting at the moment. Arthur Beetson on camera. We read today in both newspapers, The Sun and the Mirror, about the deal being clinched for him to become a publican at Moreton Bay in 1981. And his loss to New South Wales football, I'm sure, will be a magnificent gain to the home state of Arthur Beetson. Collins from way out there. That's looking better. He's got 2 points in the first points of the cup final. Parramatta lead Balmain 2-0 after 6 minutes of time gone on the blue and gold flags of Leichhardt Oval. Those that have made the journey down through some rather dicey weather tonight have their first chance to flutter in the breeze. Yes,
and that'll certainly do young Collins a power of good. He must feel about 10 foot tall now, because there's a wonderful atmosphere here, and there'd be nothing better than to see the ball sailing between those posts to put your first points on the board.
It was a great risk too, you know, because had he missed that one, Keith, he might have just gone straight down.
Wayne Miranda restarts for the Tigers. This is Neil Hunt, who had I can only use one word, he had an awful game on Sunday, and he could stung back into a brilliant Neil Hunt exhibition tonight, and he's already shown that he might be just on and on night as Glover runs off Beetson, short and narrow, like a lot of players should, but they don't. Edge is the dummy half. Sterling. Gerard. Oh, gee, that could nearly have been a shepherd against Patterson, but winners with the ball for Parramatta. 10 metres out. That man is offside, Lavers, is he not? It's through Gerard. Calls a runner. Picks up Steve Sharp. 9 metres short of halfway. 2-0 in favour of the famous Grouse Eels here in the Tooth Cup final of 1980. A chip by Sterling. Straight to the waiting arms of Pearce. Tackle by Patterson. McMahon playing in the centres. Judith. Oh, what a crunching tackle from Beatson on McMahon. A shoulder, and McMahon bounced off him like a rubber ball. Whittaker working off Percy Knight. Hilditch was the tackler. Knight. Martin. Webster. Low tackle by Patterson. Martin. Knight. Across Pringle. Picked up by McMahon. Back to Miranda. Lost. Picked up by Hilditch for Parramatta. Fluctuating fortunes in the game at the moment. That pickup of Alan McMahon reminiscent of a goal that we'll be showing you at half-time in the Cup final. We'll show you them all, and then, of course, the winning try for the Golden Volvo from Tynan Motors of Sylvania.
Balmain's handling a little shaky, Frank, under some heavy defensive pressure.
That's right. And
knocked on by Filipana.
And since that goal was kicked, Keith, Parramatta seem to be playing with a lot more confidence.
Yes, they've lifted their game.
The superstar Billings gentlemen, Sterling and Knight on 6. 3 points clear of McMahon, Whittaker and Peter Wynn. Sterling to feed. Centre field, 39 metres out. Penalty to Balmain. Loose arm against the Parramatta hooker, Stephen Edge. And a chance for Miranda to level it up. They've got the breeze at their backs in the first quarter. The Tigers of Balmain. Well, I'm doing my 7th Cup final, and these scenes are very, very reminiscent of that record crowd that attended the 76 final. Tigers defeated the Bears of North Sydney. And I'm taking into account that the Latcham Robinson stand was only a dream at the time. That crowd, by the way, was around 21,000, but that new stand has occupied, or is able to seat, a lot of people. But still, the hilled area, or the grassed section of Leichhardt on the other side, here it is packed to capacity, and people have taken some of the vantage points that I can recall occupied in the 76 final, on top of toilet blocks and backyard fences, and you name it, they've grabbed it. I can't believe the crowd, as big as it is, in view of the scatty showers and thunderstorms we've had in Sydney during the day. Miranda rocking to and fro as he hits it. Sweet. It's getting away. It's away, and Parramatta lead. Still by 2 points to 0, as it will come down now for the 22 drop to restart. Well, certainly this will go down, no matter what the result, as the most controversial Cup final that we've covered. Filipana, taken by Patterson. Collins is over there in 5, assisting in the tackle. Knight. Lavers. And then he's on the dummy. They've all bought it. This man running onto it and galloping towards the 22 line was the fullback, or in fact centre, Alan McMahon, who's injured a knee, it appears. Knight, Morris, over the top, Beatson. Sterling was around the legs. Knight, Martin, danger player, held by Kenny, got it back to Knight. Up to the 20, and Beatson again in the tackle. It's a Parramatta ball picked up by their number 10, Steve Sharp. Peter Wynn. Peter Wynn galloping out towards the scoreboard flank. McMahon is still quite groggy.
He's injured a shoulder, Ray.
Frank Hyde, thank you.
Is it his wrist, or?
Well, he grabbed his shoulder when he first got up.
Sterling, Wynn, and he's put a let-off for Balmain. They were playing with Alan McMahon virtually as a passenger, and they were looking a bit brittle out there. Here's Pringle in 17. Tackled outside the 22 line. Knight, Martin, Pearce, talented player. 8 metres from the quarter. Gerard and Patterson doing the work there in defence. Filipana. Patterson again makes the tackle. Kenny over the top. Hello, Solkowitz and Pringle exchange blows in the back play. Martin, Knight, Webster and the Tigers. Will they throw? Miranda has lost it out the back door. Scooped away by Hilditch.
Here's trouble for Balmain.
This is Kenny now. And he's taken ball and all by Filipana.
There's trouble if he'd been able to get Collins into the clear.
Gerard. He's lost it. It's Balmain back onto the attack through Webster. And Hilditch goes over the top. Sterling down below. Both sixes and sevens. Wayne Miranda is completely unconscious. Struggling. He's got great difficulty in getting to his feet, the Balmain winger. Quarter time in a sensational start to the cup final. Parramatta 2, Balmain no score. Quarter about to get underway as the Parramatta cheer squad file from the field after routine done by both the Parramatta and Penrith girls, adding to a sea of colour here at Tooth Cup final night 1980. A retaliation immediately from McMahon sends it straight to Neil Hunt. A test for the young fullback. And Pringle over the top gives him another test up. Just to remind him that he's playing top grade and he's in a cup final. Sterling again met by Pringle. Gerard now looking a little bit bewildered as he sees which forward action. Hilditch is 9 metres from the halfway line. Parramatta 2, Balmain 0. Patterson. Well, Patterson was just simply lacking a runner.
Yes, he was, because if either Sterling or Beatson had been that yard further up, the gap had been broken.
Gerard, Edge is still going. Solkowitz is there with him. Solkowitz is down to the 22. Filipana making the tackle. Solkowitz plays it back for Edge to Sterling. Now to win. Goes on the inside. That's him with the ball now. Last tackle for Parramatta, and this scrum will go down 15 metres out from the Balmain line.
Parramatta looking better with the ball at the moment, Frank, and creating a few opportunities, aren't they?
Yes, and there was a gap there on 2 occasions in the Balmain forwards, Keith, that they'll need to close up before the night's out.
It's a Parramatta ball, and Sterling is wrestled at the ground and dumped by Percy Knight.
There certainly won't be any love lost between those two tonight.
Collins and Wing getting involved, 10 metres out, centering play.
I think this is where Balmain's biggest problem is going to come in, this danger zone in here, 15-20 yards from the line.
Peter Wynn.
Yes, we're moving up though.
He's right in centre field. The line, you see, that dark line is 10 metres out from the uprights. Beatson, Patterson puts it down. Schaefer goes away for Balmain. Outside the 22 line.
No good break.
Was a good run by Schaefer. Lavers.
Balmain slow to back up the man possession, Keith.
Yes, they are. I think they can tend to take a couple of steadiers on those occasions, looking to turn and get their backs into a position to attack. But, of course, by that time, the Parramatta defence is very
organised,
very solid, yes.
Webster now. They're right midway between the 22 and halfway, their own end of the field, the Tigers. Knight. Short ball for Filipana, but Solkowitz and Beatson there to make the tackle. Or Kenny, in fact, number 4. Whittaker. Last tackle coming up for Balmain now. Webster. Thought about popping the pass, but it's the scrum now, 7 metres on Balmain's side of the halfway.
Yes, I thought that pass went astray again. I was looking for McMahon to come in and...
well, McMahon was looking for it too.
Yes, I think he was, and that's what I said. I think it went astray.
Talking of McMahon, he appears completely recovered from what was either a wrist injury. Wynn. Driven to the ground. Adjacent to the scrum base by Wayne Pearce. Sterling, Glover makes the extra man but runs back into the forwards. Almost breaks free. In fact, he does. Pringle makes a saving tackle at the finish. Glover goes away himself. Inside the 22 line. An enthusiastic match is Neville Glover having tonight. This is Patterson. Now Glover. And he's held by Lloyd Martin. Now it's Gerard at dummy half. Hilditch up the centre.
Balmain waiting for them to come to them, Keith, instead of moving up and harassing them and Parramatta in possession.
Neil Hunt's coming and watch for him. There's the bomb from Sterling. Going down to Schaefer. And the big men fly for it, and it's well taken by the young Phil Schaefer. A roar of approval from the Balmain fans. Whittaker held by Kenny. McMahon. Knight. Miranda around Collins. Back to Knight on the 22 line. McMahon. Oh, beats him again with another driving.
Yes, he picked him out a dangerous pass by Percy Knight, but of course that's what he's renowned for. He's got a lot of flair in his game. Yes, ooh. I thought Rod Morris had a chance to get it from Lloydie Martin.
Now Clavers. Pearce putting it down. A chance for Balmain, but now it's Patterson for Parramatta, giving it to Neil Hunt. He'll call Michael Collins on his inside. 10 metres short of the 22 line. 2-0 in favour of Parramatta if you've just joined the Tooth Cup final on Network 10 throughout Australia and TV1 in New Zealand. Artie Beetson. A man who I believe Parramatta cannot go into the Premiership semi-finals without in their top side.
And I agree.
Steve Sharp now. Gerard. Sterling. Patterson. Win. Silafana around the shoulders. Patterson's been felled in the back play.
And the ball went astray. He lost it.
Going in. This will be for the report on Patterson. Never mind about the tackle on Peter Wynn, which I know looked a little bit if and buttish, but it looked okay really on the head-ons. I think it would prove that, but it's the tackle on Patterson. Let's try and get a head-on shot if we can of what happened when Patterson gave the final pass to Peter Wynn. Is that possible? Here's Patterson. Good camera. Knight went around with a swinging arm. It wasn't that tackle. I emphasize the touch judges are there talking about the other one you saw in the first instance on Michael Patterson. The penalty now. Well, I would have thought the penalty should be given back where Mike Patterson was felled. Hartley indicating a kick for goal.
Yeah, that was the Wynn tackle that the penalties come from.
Well, I'd be interested to have a look at that tackle on Patterson again.
Yes.
Anyhow.
Matter of fact, I'm not too.
I reckon Percy Knight went in hard and went in chest high.
I don't think it was.
I think he hit him backwards.
Okay, let's try and get it back. If you, if the famous fighters are going to have it, no, not this man. Where is he? We might have picked this up at the wrong place. It's a dicey problem at the best of times trying to find something on this head-on reel, but we've got a bit of time. Collins is setting it up in front, about 30 metres out. Is it coming up now? I do believe. Here it is. Well, there it is.
Oh, yeah, he's back to him. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that tackle.
And there's nothing wrong with that tackle, but this is where the penalty's been awarded, where Wynn was tackled.
Yes.
Collins takes the shot. The flags are up. Parramatta lead by 4 points to 0 in what is becoming an even more controversial cup final.
Well, someone must have seen something because both touch judges came in, so maybe something was missed in the just outside the camera range, but we didn't actually pick it up from here. Anyhow, at this stage, Parramatta leading by 4 points to 0 and looking comfortable. Even Johnny Peard smiling.
Balmain will need to take advantage of lost balls from Parramatta if they're going to get back into this game.
Now it's Neil Hunt to take it out. Well, I might have misled you there when I believed it was the tackle on Michael Patterson that brought the penalty, obviously from where the penalty wasn't to do with the Patterson tackle at all. But let's repeat what Keith has said. Both cut judges apparently saw the same incident. Beetson. Oh, yes, picked up by Stephen Edge, capitalising on a half chance from Beetson. And then it's Peter Wynn taking it over the halfway line. And by Jove, I tell you what, this lad, he might be giving them 3-point start tonight, but he's certainly trying to pick them up. Gerard. Patterson's on the inside. Sterling on the outside. And the little halfback who starred for Fairfield Patrician Brothers on this night some 3 or 4 years ago. Sharp, a short ball to Peter Wynn. Floats it back. Oh, good take by Patterson. That's the end of 6.
Balmain's trouble is not moving up to defend.
Yes, but let's give Parramatta the credit now because they're starting to pick up the runners as well, and they've taken the Balmain defence up and they have picked the blokes up outside, but a good covering tackle by Rod Morris.
But Keith, every time that Parramatta are moving with the ball, they're moving 10 metres before they come to a Balmain defender.
Now that ball is a Balmain ball. Pearce. Pearce is through a big gap between Wynn and Kenny. Kenny closes the gap.
Balmain making enough opportunities at the moment to still put a lot of pressure on Parramatta, but nothing's coming of them at the moment.
Filipano. Grassing Patterson, who's done a tremendous amount of defence. Knight. And a short ball from Schaefer to Davison. On the inside, Schaefer. Coming up as Miranda. Can he make it in time? Taken to ground 10 metres out from the line and into touch for a scrum.
Well, Miranda did well to get across from the right wing here. It was just unfortunate that Schaefer couldn't get the pass back in field. He's a talented player, young Schaefer, and did well then, getting the pass away to Davidson, who showed good pace up the wing and then backed up on the inside. Important scrum.
Sterling, open side. Lock forward Wayne Pearce, who's cutting Sterling down every time he tries to sneak up the side of the scrum. Beatson. Beatson looking, finding Patterson. Patterson gets it away to Salkowitz, and on it goes to Kenny. Is very fast. Collins goes to was going to the inside, but Kenny was pulled down by Neil Whittaker. Rather unbelievably how Whittaker got across there so quickly. Sterling to Patterson. 10 metres short of the halfway line. Pearce was the tackler. Morris over the top. Beatson wants it. Edge sneaking away on the blind side. Back through Sharp. Picked up by Wynn. Parramatta 4. Balmain 0. Gerard. Up the centre goes Beatson. He'll take Sterling with him. There's Sterling. Into the open space. And Schaefer. Good tackle by Phil Schaefer. Still they work it to the right. Hilditch turns it back on the inside for Patterson. And the end of 6 and some good football coming out of the final. Yes,
it is. And Parramatta creating havoc in the middle of the ruck, the way that Gerard and Beatson are turning that pass back on the inside and the outside and picking up the runners at the moment. This is where Balmain's trouble is coming from. And they're not getting up to smother that ball carrier.
Not getting up, Keith.
Parramatta standing that little bit deeper, though, with the ball.
Schaefer, another break by the fullback. Cover tackle by Beatson. 10 metres short of the halfway. Knight. Lavers. Hilditch's tackle. Knight with basketball down to Martin. A quick ball to Filipana. Stands in the tackle. Gets it to Pearce. A big run coming up from Miranda. Martin on the inside. And he's picked up by Collins and by second row forward Steve Sharp.
He couldn't do much else than that, Miranda.
Now it's Whittaker. Filipana. Knight. And over the top, Gerard. Underneath was Salkowitz. This is Whittaker.
Nobody with him. Look at this. Walking.
Yeah, he gets away from dummy half very quickly, though, Frank.
Gee, they should have anticipated, Keith.
Yes, I agree. I wish the hell they had it.
Schaefer now. 10 metres out from the line. Balmain really piling on the attacking pressure. Knight. A bomb to test Neil Hunt. It's a good bomb, too. Beautifully taken.
Goal line drop out.
Pearce losing his footing. Schaefer. Wrestled to the ground by Sharp. Still be tackling at the same rate as the full-time siren sounds. Martin. Beatson around the legs. Kenny over the top. Knight. Lavers through Morris. Pringle. Tackle by Kenny.
I think Lloydie Martin's got to get into a situation where he starts attacking because he's not creating any problems for the Parramatta outside backs that are able to come up very quickly. And at the moment, he's just content to ball and move it out, and consequently, there's no worries for Parramatta.
Miranda's pass tonight. Martin now. Filipana. Good tackle there by Patterson. That man is Martin. They've lost some ground. Now they're going across the field and ahead now. Martin. Sterling was the tackler. We're 6 minutes from half-time with Parramatta leading by 4 points to 0. This is Percy Knight. Now Lavers, a quick ball away to Filipana. Now it's Pringle. Pearce. Balmain streaming to the 22. A try coming up. Miranda will score the first try of the cup final and taking it right around. Yes. And the crowd goes absolutely wild.
Well, let's say the Balmain supporters in the crowd.
That was a good try. The pass passing of Balmain there was really top class.
Yes, Pringle was the one that gave a very good pass, and so did Wayne Pierce when he made that break there. Up there, drew the two of them in and gave Miranda a good passage, but Miranda showed good pace then to get away from his winger, and of course being a goal kicker himself, I think he appreciated the advantage of getting around underneath the sticks.
So the cup final score is 4 points to 3 with the simplest of conversion attempts for Wayne Miranda. See it head on.
Percy Knight got away a very clever pass there too, and that was Filipano picked it up well, and from there I suppose you could say the try was on. But give Wayne Pierce full marks. He accelerated then and drew the Parramatta defence, and Schaefer was able to take 2 passes. Maybe Hunt could have allowed Patterson to pick up Schaefer and look to cover Wayne Miranda, but he didn't, and it's first points to Balmain. First try anyhow.
We're just coming back live in time to see Miranda convert his own try. And there it is. New scoreline. Balmain 5. Balmain 5. Parramatta 4. Miranda 1 out of 2.
Parramatta are moving up enthusiastically in defence, Keith, but they're not organised. They're bunching.
Yes, well, I think one of the big problems has been that Balmain, they've been forcing Balmain to play them through the forwards. Balmain looking to utilise their backs at every opportunity, and probably a little lacking in combination with Alan McMahon being forced into the three-quarter position rather than Wayne Wigham and Filipano are a pretty solid centre pairing.
Labours. Lost ball.
Those mistakes.
Knight recovering for Balmain, but the knock-on will be played. The draw for the ground prizes here at Leichhardt tonight was conducted just before the kick-off of this match, and at this point I want to express our thanks to National Panasonic and Easterways Air Conditioning at Artarmon for their contribution of products as prizes to help make this a truly big night. Thank you, National Panasonic, and thank you, Easterways Air Conditioning. Parramatta now have run back from a 3-0 deficit in the scrums to be down 5-4 in that count. This is Neil Hunt.
Good step there back inside, wasn't it, to beat Pringle?
We're only 4 minutes out from half-time. Sharp watching this match tonight. A little team of under-10 Parramatta Maras brothers who were dead keen to come, but that rain forced them to postpone a long-awaited trip to Leichhardt tonight. Beatson away to Stirling. And to those little fellows, my apologies. There hasn't been a spot of rain since I left you. Wouldn't it blow your brains out? Here's Collins. Gerard, the dummy half. Stirling. And a high bomb could present troubles. Schaefer's been taken by... Not... Yes, that's a penalty, and a rightful penalty. Good refereeing, Greg Hartley. Schaefer was taken out of the game completely. You must play the ball and not the man. And they just simply took Schaefer from underneath and took him out of that action completely.
Yes, and I think there were a lot of relieved Balmain players there too that appreciated that, because I think the points were on the board.
That's right. And there are a lot of referees who would have allowed that too, just quite.
Laurie Nichols, the cheer squad leader from Balmain, he's a monument to Tiger territory.
I guarantee he's more tired than the footballers when the game's finished.
He's an absolute freak, Laurie. There he is, shadow sparring, left, right, and Tiger. And the Tigers are in front 5 cup final, 2 minutes from half-time. A cup final tinged with sadness. Whichever way you look at it, if you're associated with rugby league and sport. Not here tonight, that great journalist, Ernie Christensen, who passed away yesterday. And as I said in Eyewitness News last night, to his friends and relatives, our deepest sympathies. And I'm certain Frank Hyde and Keith Barnes showing those sentiments.
Yes,
good little left hook then. Yes, I agree.
But Hartley calling Peter Wynn out. Five-4 in favour of the Tigers. at half-time, as I told you earlier, and that is only 60 seconds away. We'll be screening the tries that made the final of the 1980 Golden Try Award, and they'll in from 6th through to 1st, and then of course we'll know the winning try and which player has made that try, and therefore wins the magnificent Volvo 242 GT Sports Sedan from Tynan Motors of Sutherland. Great prize, the richest in rugby league individually. Penalty to Parramatta. The indication is shepherding. Is it?
Yes, I think that was what the ruling was.
Offside, Ray O'Donnell indicates to me as I was looking down at a script.
An offside pass.
It was a bad mistake, wasn't it?
Well, it happens so often.
So Collins finding touch, Edge taking the tap. Gerard. Sterling with 6 more tackles. Patterson. Peter Wynn's running to the left. Sterling puts another bomb up. Oh, that's a bit heavy. And it's bouncing end on end for Schaefer to run it over the dead ball line. So the full-time siren will probably, the half-time siren, I should say, will sound probably before the line dropout is taken. And Balmain are fully aware of that.
Yes, and I think Schaefer did the right thing too, taking that ball, because it could have happened anything then.
That's right.
Certainly he had no opportunity, but if he'd allowed it to bounce, he didn't know where the Parramatta players were. And
that's right.
Thing.
Yes, I realise that, and he's got in the back of his mind the fact that had gone dead in goal, it would have been a tap kick from the corner.
And so as we look back into the tunnels to where the players will be filing for the half-time break from Leichhardt Oval here in Sydney, the half-time Tooth Cup final score is Balmain 5, Parramatta 4. We come back to Leichhardt for the 3rd quarter, and Parramatta coming back onto the field to see that that win that was favouring Balmain for the first 2 quarters has probably faded fractionally as Glover comes away with it. Webster over the top. This is Stephen Edge, now Beatson, out towards the 22 line. Dilditch wants it. Gerard. Win on the blind side. Comes off a Balmain player.
Young Webster's made a dramatic improvement in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
He played well here tonight too.
Yes, he made his debut about 4 weeks ago and was a little bit tentative, but certainly he's gone ahead in leaps and bounds and a lot more authority and vigour in his play. And as you said, Frank, he's having a top going into the
Rod Morris. 8 metres from the 22. Knight. Whitaker, a dummy for him. Martin.
Yes, it certainly was a very flat move. Then it was a well-rehearsed one, but it certainly wasn't executed too well.
Oh, Sterling intercepting for Parramatta. Looks up and just cheekily smiles at Olsen Filipina before playing it for this man, Peter Wynn. Now Sterling. Beatson. Right on the halfway line. I'm told we'll probably do a season with the Redcliffe Club in Brisbane next year. Sterling. Patterson. Neil Hunt. Hunt. There's a chance on for Kenny. Balmain have been broken. Kenny holding it up. Then to Collins.
Yes, it was good defence there, particularly good defence by Schaefer that manoeuvred Kenny into a situation where he only had one way to go, and then the Balmain cover defence was coming across, and of course at that stage then it wasn't much good giving it to Collins because there was
room to move.
No, it was good play by Schaefer.
Schaefer's had an outstanding game for Balmain. Fed by Knight, won by Balmain. Pearce, taken by Wynn and Patterson. Schaefer. Whitaker. Morris. Schaefer. Got Trippinus and Gregory Streamer. Joking. Knight. Martin. Webster. Ooh. Thought about giving it to McMahon before he saw the blue and gold jumper of Ed Selkowitz. McMahon. Let's get out of here. That's a good kick out. Right on the halfway line. The scrum will form just a shade to the Parramatta side.
And just while we give in the praise to Phil Schaefer, of course, you've got to be a little bit critical of Kenny, because in a situation like that, he should have come in and made Schaefer take him. So rather than going across a little bit of crossfield, he should have committed Schaefer to the tackle.
Right. Indicated a lack of experience there, Keith.
Yes,
I mean, you want to use as much of the ground as you possibly can instead of getting wedged onto that touchline.
So it's Sterling for Parramatta with the ball. Glover. Sharp. Had a very good game, Steve Sharp, in the semi-final against Western Suburbs, you might remember. Sterling, Beatson, picked up by Glover, and nicely picked up in cover by Percy Knight.
Working the blind side a lot, Frank.
They certainly are, working Glover's wing all the time.
Beatson in a smother of Balmain players. Parramatta's last fortnight has been a heavy one. Manly, Wests, the Cup final, then Canterbury, then St George, now Patterson, now Kenny. Quick hands to Solkowitz. He's headed for the corner. He steps inside. Solkowitz throws a pass in desperation, does he? No, he's still in possession. 5 metres out from the line. Hilditch now calls on Peter. Goes for Michael Patterson, but referee Hartley has called a halt.
That was another game by Schaefer, wasn't it? Because he just went straight for the winger, saying to Wayne Pearce coming across,
yes,
you take Solkowitz and I'll look after the winger.
Pearce did it too.
Just let me tell you, before we get carried away, Hartley had indicated 6 tackles. So, the scrum won by Balmain, and Knight gives it to Schaefer, and Schaefer is tackled just inside his own 22. Knight. Sterling over the top, Sharp down below. Whittaker, Martin, Peter Wynn, the tackler. 5-4 still in favour of Balmain. Filipana and the Kiwi international taken by Wynn. McMahon lofts one down, which bounces badly, picked up by, and he gets a one-hander dangerously back to Webster. And they're just back inside their quarter line on the 6th tackle now, Balmain. McMahon, a penalty, Parramatta inside the 5. Six minutes gone, third quarter.
A little bit of panic means play, or they're just a little bit over-anxious, over-adventurous.
Yes, those one-handed passes in your own quarter are a bit dicey, aren't they? Especially when the opposition are moving through so quickly as Parramatta are.
Well, we're in that vital third quarter, as we've often been accused of
overemphasizing.
Yes. Morris. Good tackle, Hilditch. Martin. That was not George Doniger, but in fact Frank Hyde. Knight. Webster. There's a gap. Beatson closes it with the help of Patterson. Or was it Edge? It was Edge. Knight. Lavers. Oh, Pringle. Could have well for the prize. Hilditch plays it outside his 22 line. This is Neil Hunt, a youngster who could well turn a loss or a seeming loss into a victory with that extravagant step of his. So could this man, Peter Wynn. Both danger players for Balmain to contend with. Gerard. The big man. Now where's his support? Here comes one, Glover. And Schaefer did well. Sterling's in support. And the little man is into touch just inside the 22. But that was good football by Jeff Gerard.
Yes, it certainly was. He looks as if he's come back to the form of the Birmingham Kangaroo selection, Frank.
Yes. Oh, yes, he's a natural front rower now, Keith. And yet he has the pace of a second rower.
Yes, and good football sense too when he threw a very good pass to Glover.
The man of the match tonight will have a vital Star Award, and that'll be announced after the presentation of the trophies
And he'll have that choice of great prizes, the National Video Cassette Recorder, the Colour Camera, or the Portapack Recording Unit from National Panasonic and Electronic Sales and Rentals. Percy Knight to feed this scrum just inside his quarter line, as you can see. Penalty to Parramatta. Well, that's a loose arm, as the indication from Hartley. Saturday's big game for Channel 10 viewers here in Sydney. South and West at Lidcombe should be a bottler of a game. 6 to 7:30, the only full match replay in Sydney television. You'll see it here on 10.
There's not much point in McMahon going over to ask for a ruling there. He's got to have a talk to his hooker and Liam Whittaker and make sure that he doesn't go into a situation like that with a loose arm.
Incidentally, Michael Collins is coming up for, I think it's his 5th attempt. Am I right, Ray? Yes, attempt 5. He's kicked 2 out of 4. This breeze has certainly, well, it appears as though it's blown itself out, Frank Hyde.
Yes, yes. Although he kicked one in the first half in a similar position to this on the other side of the ground.
Larry Corrower and Wayne Wigham getting warmed up to come on for Balmain.
An interesting one, though, is who are they going to replace to put Wayne Wigham in particular on the field, because Schaefer's having such a game at fullback.
Yes.
Probably put one on for you and one for Laurie Nichols.
It'll probably be...
Joking, George. Don't get upset now. Here comes Collins. He's missed it. And so it comes to the 22 for the drop restart. There have been 5 scrum penalties and 4 of them have been against Balmain. The drop by McMahon.
I think most of them have been within kicking range.
They all have. They all have.
Neil Hunt now. Well, I think Keith and Frank are a little bit inclined to think the Tigers might get away with this cup final.
Well,
I'm not prepared to tear my ticket up, though.
No, I feel that the Balmain are falling back into that, waiting for Parramatta to come. Instead of moving up and knocking them down. That allowed Gerard to go through that last time. But,
so that was a pass from Beetson that a lot of people will probably remember as being a mistake against the international forward as the reserves come on for Balmain, but they probably won't stop to remember that he has made a couple of probing openings for his side and made several very hard and legitimate tackles in the first 25 minutes.
Yes, well, certainly Johnny Davidson can feel well satisfied, and they should certainly get a pat on the back from Dennis Tuddy. They did a mighty job, the pair of them, and they did Balmain proud.
I don't know about a pat on the back from Dennis Tuddy, but Laurie Nichols is certainly doing just that. So this is Rod Morris. Walking a familiar trail, or running it up the centre. Knight. Pringle.
Yes, there's no cohesion there at the moment.
Oh, I don't think Pringle expected that one.
Well, of course, he's just slotted into the side now. Ronnie Pillen has been the regular second rower, but because of the pre-match ruling, of course, Neil Pringle went from reserve straight into the team.
Knight. Filipana. It's off a Parramatta player, picked up by Pearce, and the tackler was Steve Sharp. Correct ruling. Knight. He slid it. Oh, that's forward. Deliberately forward to Rod Morris. And Hartley was right on the spot to give the correct ruling. As he was when he indicated to Balmain that they had 6 more tackles to go.
And unfortunately for Balmain, that was one pass that went to hand, Frank.
Yes. But there's no way it could have been anything other than forward, the way the opposition were placed there.
So the tap will be taken by Edge, and Glover could well come round him. They had a little chat as they meandered up to this spot. But it's Gerard, who's just outside the Balmain 22. 8 minutes from three-quarter time. Sterling Hilditch. And the skipper has tackled 2 meters out. Penalty to Parramatta. Let's see that on the disc. Let's see that on the disc. I think he's got him for actually infringing the man tackled. Overindulgence, I call it, but you see it again, Hilditch. Well, that's what he's got Morris for.
No, it was a punch from Webster, I think.
Was it?
It looked to me.
I thought it was more or less the fact that he had tackled him, and then as he got up, he upended him again.
Or did Steve Laver?
Well, no, it was a difficult situation. Yeah. I think it was difficult to determine what the penalty was for, actually. There was probably a couple of sort of half infringements.
Yeah, so I think you'll find that it was Laver.
See it again. I think it's...
Well, that's Webster and Morris.
I think it's Morris. You watch Morris now when Hilditch gets up to play it. Watch this. There it is. But then again, he seemed to release him, didn't he? I think it might be a rather fortunate penalty for the Bulls.
And they've had a couple of those.
Collins, he's got 2 points, and Parramatta lead this cup final by 6 points to 5. And that big crowd up there on the hillside of the ground, along with all others, well, they're not leaving. They have got a real spine-tingling game of rugby league on their hands. It may not have been the most fashionable game, but it's got all the excitement of cup fever. Neil Hunt.
I feel it's very important now for Balmain to play the game in Parramatta's territory. I think the Parramatta forwards are starting to make good inroads, Frank.
Yes.
They're pretty powerful, and of course you're going to have a situation now where they're going to be under pressure and possible penalties.
Sharp.
Now, there's Wiggum has made 3 tackles in a row there, and I think that he missed the 4th one, but...
Beatson put down. That'll be 6 to go. Steve Sharp dived on it for Parramatta. Sorry, Frank.
They have to stop Parramatta from the rucks instead of waiting till they penetrate and then catch them up.
Sterling, Wynn on his outside, going inside now. This is Kenny, and Cordova makes the tackle. Sterling, Gerard, Whittaker around the legs. Non-stop 80-minute footballer is Neil Whittaker. Sharp. Last tackle for Parramatta. Sterling will probably kick. Scrums against him at the moment. Beatson looking for Patterson, picking up Neil Hunt. And Hunt is over the halfway line. He's a pretty good footballer, this kid. And he's taken it down 10 metres out from the 22 line.
Yes, and so's the bloke that gave him a pass, a pretty good footballer.
Beatson.
My word. This is certainly a well-rehearsed move, and Beatson always has plenty of time. He's sending that little bit yard deeper in attack and making it difficult for the Balmain defence to get up to him.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 or 3 runners off him. This is what Balmain aren't doing with their ball player in person night.
Important scrum this way. It's a Parramatta ball. Oh, nearly a mistake as Patterson tries to make the best of it. Kenny tries to slide through a gap, taken by Cordova. Peter Wynn says, give me a quick play the ball, Kenny, if you can. And he works the line side, but it all fell apart there. Edge now. Deep inside Balmain territory, 6-5 in favour of the Eels. Beatson runs blind. This man is Sharp going the 10 metres out. Hartley calling the Tigers outside the 5. Hilditch. 9 metres out from the line still. 1 point. Parramatta leading Balmain by. Beatson. Patterson took a jolting tackle. Let's name that player.
Percy Knight.
It was. Sterling. A grub. A Marty Gurr grub. And it's still being played. And Wayne Pearce comes away for Balmain. Lavers. Three minutes from three-quarter time. McMahon. He's had it taken from him. It's a Balmain penalty. No, it was Sterling.
They point to Sharp when he gave the penalty as he walked up there. Sterling dived on it.
Aha. Those 2 fair-headed fellows have got us again. But penalties like that, Frank, needless to say, could cost a cup final.
Without doubt.
Short pass for Pringle. Knight again. Well, oh, my goodness, he looked like he might have been able to give one for Wayne Wigham. Here's Philip Parner, but he's tackled by a man in an offside position, Patterson. 2 minutes out from three-quarter time. Stephen Edge gave Michael Patterson a push and said, arguing and get back out of it. And then Patterson tripped, and it looked as though Edge had in fact pushed his teammate over. McMahon's kick for touch will land on the grandstand roof. I don't know whether you heard that thunderous roar, but it was like Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Knight to Filipana. Knight. Miranda. Pearce. Morris. Lavers. 60 seconds from three-quarter time. Knight. Martin. Filipana. The run round. And here's McMahon. The Balmain bust and put behind Wiggins. Picked up by Pringle for Balmain. Tackle Pringle by Glover and into touch.
Yes, well, there was certainly another opportunity there, although the Parramatta defence was coming across pretty quickly.
Yes,
Frank.
they're defending well, Keith.
They are defending
Parramatta.
well.
They're causing Balmain to run sideways too.
Yes, I think Lloydie Martin's got to start attacking from the 5/8 spot.
Penalty, no. He wants it again.
Meters it should be in, not
yes,
15.
He's not entitled to take them in that far.
Knight. Martin picked up Martin, knocked on by Sterling. And another scrum now, which will barely have time to pack. And the three-quarter time scoreline in the cup final 80 is 6 points to 5 in favour of Parramatta over Balmain. 80. Balmain looking for $87,000, and a mistake made in the opening kickoff by Neil Hunt, and a scrum will go down 10 metres out from the Parramatta line.
And this is of course the opportunity now that Balmain have to force pressure on Parramatta, either from an incorrect scrum feed or possession from the Balmain. But it's Parramatta's ball.
Sterling quite happy to dive on it and then take the tackle of Webster. Peter Wynn tries to take it away, but that could prove a very costly mistake by Neil Hunt. Sharp.
Pringle getting through a lot of work in defence.
He certainly is. Balmain must keep them in this quarter until the 6 tackles run out.
Timeout for Sharp, who may be suffering from cramp, I think.
Yes, well, I think it's very important, as you said, Frank, for Balmain, though, to at least keep Parramatta in their quarter for the 6 tackles, make them kick, and hopefully get possession. Sterling, a very good tactical kicker, gains a lot of yardage, doesn't he?
But you notice McMahon is standing very deep there, anticipating it.
As one of those vantage points the crowd has occupied Leichhardt.
Probably be looking to get across to the touchline a little bit more as the 6 tackle comes up.
Yeah.
Rain starting to fall as the umbrellas come to the fore. And Sharp is about to play the ball now. Second tackle. Hard. Heads looking for Sterling. Here he is. And a torpedo straight to Miranda. They're all apparently onside. Wigham could prove a match winner for Balmain. Fresh, talented centre. Miranda. Knight, Whittaker, Lavers. Whichever way you look at this cup final, and whoever wins, there's certainly going to be many hard luck stories told after this game. Wigham playing it on the last. Knight, Martin, Wigham, and held by Kenny.
Well, Parramatta's offence is very organised at this stage, Keith, and it's have to be something extra special from Balmain to penetrate them, not like it was in those early quarters.
No, well, they're very, very flat, of course, and the outside forwards, particularly Beetson, who's standing very wide in the ruck, is wedging Balmain back infield.
Now, I think Percy Knight's got that
Balmain ball.
Yes, he has. And away from the dummy half goes McMahon. Inside the Parramatta 22 line now. Knight, Martin, chunky little fellow from New Zealand. Scrums are reading out at 9-7 to Balmain. Filipana, also from the Shaky Isles.
I think there's got to be a few more variations. Parramatta are a bit thin on the blind side, and Balmain are taking the play the one way all the time.
Webster down by Selkowitz. And a penalty right in front. Gerard inside the 5. Right in front of the uprights, which most certainly will see Balmain in front 7-6 in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, what a tight final it's been.
I wonder if there's any thought going through Wayne Miranda's mind. There's a lot of money involved, isn't
right.
there?
Yes.
I wouldn't think so. He's a very talented player and a good pressure kicker. But certainly...
Well, he couldn't have it any easier than this one.
No. Sometimes the easy ones are not the easiest to land.
That's right.
The easiest looking ones.
Yes.
Well, it's a look of gaiety on Laurie Nichols' face as he
already
spurs
has the
the
points
cheer
on the
squad
board.
on. But it wouldn't be a look of joy on Jeff Gerard's face. He was the who infringed the 5. He's one of those 3 men standing in front of the uprights, motionless at the moment. Wayne Miranda. 16 minutes out from the full-time siren. A little dance. And he hits it sweetly. He's missed it. My goodness gracious.
He kicked it too hard.
Turn it up.
He just flung himself at it.
Where's Barnesy? Is Barnesy okay?
He's collapsed.
No, well, unfortunately, they've been missed before in situations like that,
yes.
and it was a bad one, of course, for Balmain and Wayne Miranda, but there's still 15 minutes left in this game. It's up to Balmain now to pull themselves together. That must have certainly given Parramatta a tremendous lift.
Wigham. Oh, well, this cup final's had everything now. Russell Fairfax. Exactly what's going through the mind of Wayne Miranda at this very moment. Webster streaming ahead across to Wigham, taken by Gerard.
And this might be just the spur that Balmain needed.
Now Morris, Corraway, Knight, sliding it from McMahon to give it to Martin. A kick for the corner, a shoulder charge on Martin. Balmain might have gone in, no. Into touch, says the referee. He's taken the corner. Is into touch in goal. It'll be a 22 restart.
Gee, it was a clever
non-offending side, which is Parramatta.
And it was a clever kick by Martin, wasn't it?
It was.
Very clever kick. But Percy Knight really coming into the game now. 2 very clever plays that created opportunities for Balmain.
Beetson. 10-metre gain, and every one of those metres will represent $1,000. Steve Sharp, that's a good run by the kid. And he's only a boy, believe me. Peter Wynn. Counting down, 14 minutes of the cup final to go. Parramatta in front by a point. And I must say, and I'm not particularly worried about which side wins the cup final, other than to say I hope for Wayne Miranda's sake that it's not just that point margin that we see on the scoreboard at finality. Neil Hunt into Balmain territory. Gerard back for Hilditch now. Beatson, who played in the 75 Cup winning side for Eastern Suburbs before coaching to East to a Cup final victory in 78.
Rod Morris getting through a ton of work out there, Frank.
He certainly is.
Gerard turns it back for Stephen Edge. And they're 4 meters, I should say, outside the Balmain 22 line. Parramatta haven't been to a Cup final since 75. Those Parramatta players are all onside. It's dropped and by Corowa, and that ball was just sitting there for the taking.
And Corowa took it.
Oh, a mistake in the play the ball, but McMahon is away from the in-goal area. Oh, and he's passed to Wigham, who almost lost it. Miranda's tackled out on the far side of the ground. Oh, that's dangerous football from Balmain. Kenny kicks indiscriminately, although legally, says referee Hartley. Now Rod Morris. Play back inside the Balmain 22 line. Pringle. A shoulder charge by Gerard, and he's taken eventually by Beatson.
Came onto the ball strong now.
Yes, he's running on the ball.
12 minutes out. Corowa thought about passing. Edge one tackler. The other man was Wynn. Morris. And it's down there for Lavers to probe even further. Up in number 10, and Hilditch in 11 make the tackle. 12 metres from the halfway line is Balmain as Percy Knight goes ahead and looks for Corowa, finds him, loses it. Parramatta have lost it. Towed ahead by Filipano. Referee Hartley is going to put a scrum down.
Percy Knight certainly creating opportunities there, Frank.
That's right. The idea is right with Corowa coming in there on the burst, but he's handling it.
Quick shot went to the screen of an umbrellaed crowd as Parramatta win a valuable scrum, and Sterling well contained by Percy Knight. Neil Hunt, and he's almost through. Grabbing him by the scruff of the neck was Steve Lavers.
It's been a great final.
Oh yes.
Has had everything. Ed. 12 metres from the Balmain quarter. Gerard. 10 minutes to go. Sterling. Grounded by Martin. Beatson's organising things around this ruck. And going with it is Solkowitz. Back to Beatson. Across now for Hilditch. And the skipper looks and throws a pass for Corowa for Whittaker. Knight. McMahon. Oh, there was a clash. Very heavy clash between McMahon and Hilditch. Morris. 6-5 in Parramatta's favour. A long ball for Corowa, who's put it down for Peter Wynn. Well, Corowa has come on to replace Davison, and he's gone out there with butter on his fingers, apparently, though that might not have been the easiest one for him to take. Sterling, Hunt, this rain, not heavy, but coming down sufficiently enough to make that ball just greasy, just slippery. And it's not the time for fancy football at the moment, I would ask that the founder of Rugby League, Frank Hyde.
No, it certainly isn't, but they should get closer. The handling should be better than it is. I mean, if the players keep closer in this sort of weather, that's the play. But there are some long and dangerous passes being thrown. But
Balmain can't play anything else, Frank. It's no good them playing it tight, because they're being contained by Parramatta.
And much more, they're not getting the ball.
No, well, they're behind 6-5, so they've got to attack.
Right.
They've got to take advantage of any opportunity of opening the game up.
Yep.
Calling that scrum in field again. It's supposed to go down on the 10-metre line, isn't it? From,
that's right.
From the touchline.
Well, that's, of course, if it was a scrum that goes through the ball going into touch.
Knight's speed was very much pro Balmain, but it came out, a swinging right to left it was from Gerard as the scrum broke up. Well, Sterling plays it now for Steve Sharp. He realises there's a second row berth up for grabs at Parramatta. Or should I say a great battle on for a second row berth at Parramatta. But I think you'll see the name A. Beatson back there on a firm basis come next weekend.
Parramatta content to contain the ball, control the ball and graft away down in this area. And if the opportunity arises, of course, well, they will sprint it out.
Beatson.
This is the bloke that's going to do it.
Hands by Kenny, but taken well by Wigham. This is the last. They'll be looking for Sterling. Here he is. There goes the bomb. Patterson leads the rush. He's well onside. McMahon is under it though, and he's lost it. And it's Korowa. Korowa had a kick at it, and then he had a hand at it and got it over the dead ball line in the nick of time. See that again if you wish. If you're a Balmain supporter, be careful. It doesn't frighten you. That was after the kick. That was very closet, to say the least.
It's been closet on 2 occasions, out in the full.
A penalty right in front of the uprights for Parramatta. What a mistake. Well, now, let me explain all there it was. Conaway had a kick. He missed it with the kick. Then he got it over the dead ball line with a hand. But from the ensuing line dropout, it's been put over the touchline on the full. Was it Alan McMahon?
Yes, it was. Yep. And it wasn't hard to pick. Frank was, if you knew it was going to be close, I had my heart in my mouth.
Jeez.
That chant going out now is the one that signifies that the Parramatta audience are quite happy. But Alan McMahon and Wayne Miranda, they must be saying to themselves, the one that got away.
Naturally, these things happen in rugby league. It's probably not the one that got away, because there's been a lot of opportunities that Balmain have had to put, with try-scoring opportunities and passes have gone astray. But I'd give a lot of credit to Parramatta, because they've controlled the ball well. They've played it through the forwards where their strength is. Their defence has been non-stop throughout, and even though Balmain has probed the openings, as Collins kicks the goal and Parramatta go to an 8-5 lead, they're worthy leaders at this stage, but there's still 6 minutes remaining, and this game has had everything. Maybe we'll have a finish reminiscent of what the finishes that we've had in the past.
Yes. Parramatta would be considered unlucky to lose it at this stage on the football played. They've grafted well. Balmain have had their opportunities, but bad handling and bad passing has brought them undone.
Well, this ball going down into the in goal, and Neil Hunt looks at it. He's forced to pick it up, and he's out and around Wigham. He's got an extravagant step.
Good step. And
he's out to a point just inside the 22 line. Beatson is the dummy half. That's Steve Sharp. Well, Balmain need that ball now.
They've got to get it now.
The clock shows 5:25 to go. Rain getting heavier. Glover almost burrowed his way through. He's been a hard man for Balmain to contain tonight. I'll tell you what, as a testimony, or maybe a tribute is the right word, to this game, and that's a good ball from Gerard to Hilditch to edge, but as a testimony to this game's appeal to this crowd, they're getting drenched those without the umbies, but they're standing out there in their multitudes as Patterson takes it to within 9 metres. Now Sterling will want the ball now, I would think, with a kick. Hunt takes it away, and a scrum 5 metres on the Parramatta side of halfway. Well, I thought Sterling would have got the ball then for the grub kick to put the scrum down on the Balmain side of the halfway and give Percy Knight the feed. Pillen is on as a replacement for Pringle, is it? Yes. Pringle's given good service to Balmain. He's given good service to rugby league, but tonight it's been a big effort to do what he's done under the controversial circumstances that he was forced into the game. Percy Knight. Trying his stomach out is Percy Knight. Here's Pillen. Well, Balmain are going on to one of their final lunges. Pearce cut down by Patterson, and that hurt Wayne Pearce. Philip Hunter, Martin, Webster. Up goes Hilditch. Away goes Morris. A pop of the ball back from Miranda. And the tackle made by Jeff Gerard. Pearce is injured. Clutching an ankle. Martin
Knight coming up as Pillen. It's out to McMahon. There's a chance for the Tigers. It's gone to Korowa. Korowa's tackled on the 22 line by Sterling. Last tackle for Balmain now.
Oh,
Knight.
Gee, he was a mile offside.
Oh, yes.
Mile
Lost.
offside.
And it's Parramatta's ball from Stephen Edge.
Oh.
He was a mile offside.
The crowd, 17,829. Keith, maybe you are right, but let me assure you there was a lengthy delay in the transmission of the ball from the man who played it to the dummy half.
Did you offside or not?
I did not.
Okay.
Martin, just inside the 22 line. Filipana. A chance now for Balmain. 3 points in arrears. They need to score. Martin, Knight, Webster. That tackler is Patterson, who has tackled his insides out. Whittaker, Sterling the tackler. Balmain on their last tackle. They'll probably bomb. Knight, Martin. Well, he tried to get a kick in, and it's dived on for Parramatta by Peter Sterling. Players are hobbling all over the paddock at the moment. Like the Battle of Trafalgar at the moment. That's seen out there with players left of camera.
It was great Parramatta defence during that sortie from Balmain. Give them credit.
Hunter's playing it. Lloyd Martin crotchety is getting away from the play. Little Michael Collins comes away, the man who's kicked 3 or 4 goals now. Representative of the Parramatta scoreline. Sterling's kicked down to Miranda, and the Parramatta half goes forward, but so does Miranda for Balmain, and again Patterson is around the legs for the Eels. 2 metres on the Parramatta side of Hunter. Whittaker is tackled by Sharp. It's as if these two sides are almost too tired to score any more points as Knight floats one out for Wigham. That pass is over the shoulder of Korowa and into touch on the Balmain side.
Balmain are making too many mistakes to win this game.
Yes.
Or to deserve to win it.
Well, that's right. They've only got themselves to blame for the squandering possession the way they have.
We estimate 2 minutes to go. The Percy Knight feed gives Balmain a scrum win. Pearce, Martin, and he floats one. There's an overlap for Balmain as McMahon goes to the halfway and beats Wynn. Serves it back for Pearce. He turns it back and Patterson couldn't pick it up. Knight gives it away to Morris. Morris surges towards the scoreboard side now. McMahon, they're on 6 more tackles, the Tigers. Knight goes up the centre, gets the pass down, does he? No, he takes it to ground under the tackle of McMahon, and it's gone to Wigham. I thought that could have been a touch forward.
I thought it was forward.
Yeah, I thought he was offside, really.
Just outside the Parramatta 22 line. Knight, Connor was there. This man is Lavers. Balmain throwing everything bar the kitchen sink at Parramatta. They're 3 points in arrears. They've scored 1 try to nil though, as Webster edging ahead. They're 12 metres out from the line now. And this is Whittaker, and he got a pass away to Pillen. Oh, lost! And it's picked up by McMahon. Hartley is down looking across the ground saying it's gone forward and we'll have a scrum. But oh, what an ulcer of a final. It's over! The Parramatta Eels have won their first cup. 8 points to 5. And never have I witnessed a more controversial final, both on and off the field, and what a champion player that is, or that man is, who has been involved in 3 cup finals, down there getting lost in that mass of children. Arthur beats him. Parramatta 8, Balmain 5 in the 1980 Tooth Cup final. We'll be back with the presentation of prizes in a moment. Champions of 1980 Parramatta make that trek up the stairway now to receive the Tooth Cup of 1980 and the individual trophies, and a $91,000 cheque. To the runners-up will go $45,000 in prize money. The cup and cheque will be presented by Mr. Harry Alf, Managing Director of Tooth & Company,
And the individual trophies will be presented by Fest, chairman of Tooth and Company. Harry Alf giving the cup to Ron Hilditch, the Parramatta captain. And a very jubilant Ron Hilditch it is as he receives his own pewter, as will each of the Parramatta players, and he holds them both aloft. A very memorable occasion for Ron Hilditch, who is flanked behind him by Jeff Gerard. A man who took over the captaincy of this side from Ray Price, who watched this match from the sidelines tonight. Jeff Gerard, Peter Wynn, as the necessary press photographs are taken. And the two men who hunt as a pair, Ron Hilditch and Jeff Gerard, and now Peter Wynn, hold the cup aloft. Neville Glover, Eddie Solkowitz, who did his job in defence in the centre, man Michael Collins, and now Brett Kenny, Stephen Edge, Peter Sterling, and Neil Hunt, Michael Patterson, Stephen Sharp, and Arthur Beetson, who was the man of the match here at Leichhardt tonight. Yes, that leads me on to the man of the match award for tonight. 1 point went to Stephen Sharp, 2 points went to Neil Hunt. The national prize from the National Panasonic and Electronic Sales and Rentals people, and 3 points in the Superstar Award went to Arthur Beetson. That means that the Tooth Cup Superstar, following the allocation of points tonight and receiving the 3-week holiday to Europe with Singapore Airlines, Trafalgar Tours and Hyde Park Hotel, because on a count back of votes tonight, he was the man receiving more press than his main counterpart and rival. The superstar from the Tooth Cup is Parramatta halfback Peter Sterling. And so the referee, Greg Hartley, his touch judges have received their golden pewters from Tooth and Company. And in fact, there go the victors of the 1980 inaugural Tooth Cup, the champions, along with their superstar Sterling and their man of the match Arthur Beetson. And congratulations from everybody here at Leichhardt, not only to the winners, but to the gallant losers, the Balmain Tigers.